Hello everyone, this is my top 5 from the weekend, and it has to start in one place. It has to start with Neymar. Now, the thing with Neymar, of course, is that it's a weird situation which I'm exploring by talking to a lot of people, and it will be explained in a blog for the BBC in the next few hours. Basically, the conclusion I'm getting from everyone is that PSG did not want to sell. But also, you can easily read that Barcelona didn't want to buy, or better said, they did not want to go the extra mile to get Neymar, even though they made sure that everybody knew they were trying. The offer from Barcelona, the one from the 27th of August, is big. And basically, even Neymar was willing to put money on it for it to happen. Because Neymar was the most interested in it to happen. Not just Neymar, but key players of the Barcelona squad tried to tell Neymar that everything was working towards him coming to Barcelona. They were very positive until the last few days when it became clear that in the eyes of Barcelona, PSG did not want to sell. Complex situation, and the interesting bit, of course, is the consequences of it, because Rakitic and Todibo had agreed to join PSG. Dembele always said no, even though in the last 24 hours, people that were close to the negotiations felt that there was a little door open that they wanted to push wide open for Dembele to leave. That never eventually happened. And what Barcelona players know, these players know, is that they were willing to. Barcelona were willing to let them go. Now, Valverde's job is obviously to make sure that everybody is happy again. Bartomeu's job is to make sure that the relationship with the key members of the squad doesn't break down, because quite clearly they wanted Neymar to arrive and hasn't happened. For Bartomeu, it has been, I think, a win-win situation in the sense that the president tried for it to happen. If it had happened, it would have put a lot of pressure into the finances of Barcelona, and PSG feel, and the intermediates that have tried for the deal to happen felt that Barcelona did not have the money required to get Neymar. But as it hasn't happened, he still can say, Bartomeu, that he's tried. So, complex situation, and as I said, the detail of it, keep an eye on a blog that's going to come out in the BBC. Before we move from Barcelona, we have to talk about their football and the fact that still doesn't look fluid enough. Valverde is still trying to find the best combination of players, because the style is clear. This season, there's more insistence right now at the moment, without Messi and Luis Suarez, on wide players, be it Carlos Perez especially, who likes to play very wide on the right-hand side, and players, midfielders, that actually are, with one holding one, in this case Sergi Busquets, the two midfielders are in front of him. So that's as Barcelona used to be, a 4-3-3 formation with two wide players, the midfielders, defensive midfielders in between the lines, and one holding midfielder. Last season we saw more of a Barcelona with two holding midfielders, generally Sergi Busquets and Rakitic, which made Barcelona a little bit more balanced, if you like, but a little bit more conservative as well. But despite the fact that they play in this way, we still haven't seen the best Barcelona. Rafinha is now gone, having used, I think, in 2 of the 3 games in the league. Now he's gone to Celta. De Jong on the left seems a little bit unable to impact the game. On the right, perhaps a little bit better, but without space, De Jong is going to have to learn to play with his back to goal, or well positioned to actually receive the ball and deliver a pass to the forwards. He hasn't done that yet. I think he likes to drive with the ball, likes to have a little bit of more space, and felt very comfortable with Ajax anyway as the holding midfielder. Well, while Busquets is fit, it won't be him. It won't be De Jong. And with the arrival of Luis Suarez and Luis Suarez and Messi, we'll have to see the role of Griezmann, who in 2 or 3 games that he's played, he's been anonymous. He was brilliant against Betis in the other 2 games. He just didn't move enough. He didn't intervene enough. The team didn't look for him enough. So still question marks. Mostly, and that's why coaches hate the transfer window. Mostly is the effect of a window that had a lot of players wondering what was going to happen to them. Not enough focus on the game, on the games at hand, and the work in training. It happens. They're human beings after all. So now, no more excuses, and I think it's the first time in like 40 years or so that Barcelona had not been 5 points away from the top, from an Atletico Madrid that's playing really well, and they were going to have to catch up a little bit in the next few weeks, especially now that they will have the Champions League as well. They will try to make sure that the level improves, that they recover the ball high, that they are effective with the ball and they distribute it much quicker than they've done so far. Talking of Atletico Madrid, they next. It's an interesting season for Atletico Madrid because, of course, it has been a recycling of the side, if you like. It's a much younger side with an average of 2 years younger than last season. It was the end of a cycle for many players, Godin, Juanfran, Griezmann as well. And the players that have come in have adapted quite well. Not sure about Mario Hermoso, still struggling a little bit. Llorente will have to make perhaps a bigger impact, but doesn't seem out of place. Joao Felix, again, he's got to be more influential, but has made moves that have impacted the result, goal and assist already in the 3 games that he's played. So there are a lot of positives. But the most interesting thing is that this is the most flexible Atletico Madrid we've seen to date under Simeone. So he started in the first game with a 4-4-2 formation against Getafe in a diamond shape with a lot of accumulation of players in the middle. Then against Leganés he played 3 at the back, but ended up with 4-4-2, more classical is the formation that is used the most. And again, at the weekend he used against Mendilibar's Eibar a strange formation, if you like, with 4-2-3-1. It seemed 4-4-2 as well, diamond shape, eventually classic 4-4-2, and at the end 4-2-4 with 4 forwards, Riquelme and Vitolo, who'd come from the bench, and Thomas as well. Out of those 3 out of those 4 with Costa too, with Koke and Saul in the middle. The position of Saul changes a few times during a game. The position of Neymar, who has got Simeone has got a lot of faith in him, although there is a lot of criticisms of his performances because he hasn't looked like one of those players that we call desequilibrantes, players that make a difference on the pitch. He hasn't looked like that at all, but he's been allowed to grow, while Vitolo has been the super sub so far, but he wants to be part of the lineup. So, few things to adjust. The build-up from the back as well sometimes was a little bit not great. So it was ball from Oblak to one of the centre-backs inside the box and then just long ball. Should work a little bit better. But look, 9 points out of 9, and Atletico Madrid had to be considered candidates for the league. No doubt about it. They have to be considered. So it doesn't matter what Simeone would say. He'll talk about game to game. Let's see how it goes. But they invested enough, and they have enough quality to be considered candidates for the league. Because I think they are right now better than Real Madrid, which go next. Now, Real Madrid have been disappointing already. Against Villarreal, they went ahead, but eventually Villarreal drew. They had come from behind. Villarreal scored first. But what you've got is a Real Madrid that have got moments of brilliance, more to do with individual quality than with the team performance, because the team just don't know what football they have to practice. They don't know if they're defensive or offensive, where to put the defensive line, how to pressure. They go into the pitch lacking a lot of information. And that to me is fascinating, because football is going towards organization, even of the attack. You saw it with Manchester City, is the extreme example, but Spurs do it as well. Barcelona have done it also for a long while. Even Valencia know how to attack. Everybody knows how to attack, and they organize that way. Real Madrid, they played with 3 at the back. They played 4-4-2 against Villarreal this weekend. They played 4-3-3 as well against Villarreal, the change formation. But at the beginning it was a 4-4-2 with Kroos and Casemiro in the middle, and they did not know where to place themselves. There's more space in the middle because to cover, defensively, and they fighting against a team that had more players in the midfield as well. So Kroos and Casemiro were all over the place. When you have these 4-4-2s to attack down the wings and to put crosses in, hence having two strikers in Jovic and Benzema that did not pass a ball to each other, not once. So obviously a lot of work to do between them two, but also there wasn't so much crosses being put down the wide from the wide areas. Zidane is improvising. He's improvising. Somebody made a good point that when things go against Zidane, he sometimes reacts wrongly. He did as a player anyway, with that headbutting Materazzi, a problem with Alminho as well in the league. Things that when he gets frustrated, he shows that frustration physically sometimes. That was him as a player. He's mature, of course, as a person and as a coach, but still feel that instead of insisting on whatever idea he wants the team to play, he's actually improvising a lot and perhaps not being patient enough with the side to grow. Also, remember, most of the side is the same players as last season. Mendy, though, was a good addition on the left back. He was strong, he was physical, but he was also fast. He added up front, perhaps not so much as Marcelo, but he was a better defender at the back, even though he wasn't helped a lot by Sergio Ramos, who is having a poor start of the season. That's it for Real Madrid. There's one more thing to tell you about. Chicharito has come back to La Liga, not with another white shirt, this time with Sevilla, not Real Madrid. And it's interesting that Sevilla have gone for that kind of striker. They probably want to find another Ben Yedder, who's gone to Monaco. Ben Yedder was a player that had a lot of influence inside the box, not so much around it. Chicharito's exactly the same. He's a finisher. Don't expect him to link up a lot. That's not his speciality or his strength. But that's what Sevilla needs, a goal scorer. Because right now it's a team that is solid. They drew against Celta at the weekend, but they dominated. They had more chances than Celta. Celta were very, very efficient. Generally, was the lack of efficiency from Sevilla that they were punished for. But I've seen them live against Espanyol, and I see a team that already play the way that Lopetegui wants. I like the spirit of Joan Jordan because he is actually the new Sevilla, works really hard in midfield, runs a lot, but has got quality when he's got the ball to deliver a good pass as well and shoot from outside the distance and score coming from deep. That's Sevilla. A lot of hard work with Reguilón on the left-hand side also who will be one of the highlights of Sevilla this season and of La Liga, I think, as well. Benega adapting well to a role that also requires him to work, but he's always done that. He's deceiving in the way that he plays because he's not the fastest, but he recovers a lot of possession. Navas still making an impact on the right-hand side. So you're talking about a very good team that already, as I said, talks the language of Lopetegui. They just need the goal to actually be able to compete for top four. If they manage to get Chicharito scoring, they will be candidates to top four, no doubt. That's it for now. As I said, keep an eye on the BBC blog, and there will be more videos and more stories I'll be telling you in the next few days. So keep an eye on it. Cheers.